Week 17 of the fantasy baseball season. Here's a few pitchers I looked at off the waiver wire this week. The first pitcher, Tyler Phillips of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Tyler Phillips, he's filling in the rotation with injuries. Tajon Walker, and now even Ranger Suarez went on the injured list, where now after coming off a monster game, he's going to stick in this rotation. And so far this season, 25 innings, 3-0 record, 19 Ks, a 1.80 ERA, 0.76 whip, and 2 quality starts. So he's gone out there and he's mowing teams down, coming off a complete game shutout is Phillips. And he's a hot head because now fantasy owners, they're going to run to that waiver wire and get him available right now in 81% of fantasy leagues. So the first 3 starts of his career, July 13th versus Oakland, 6 innings, got the win. 6 hits, 4 runs, 5 Ks in that one. July 21st at the Pirates, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, no runs, a walk, 3 Ks, a quality start. And July 27th, a complete game shutout versus the Guardians. 4 hits in that one, a walk, 4 Ks. So Phillips, he's a crafty pitcher right now for this Philadelphia Philly team. And it just seems like every year they find someone from the minor leagues or a journeyman that comes in to the organization and they make him a starting pitcher or whatever, and he pays dividends. So right now I know he's versed pretty mid to weak hitting teams his first 3 outings of his major league career, but he's going out there and he don't even need to strike people out to be effective. Tyler Phillips could be a big ad this week for fantasy owners, coming off the monster game, and he's available in 81% of fantasy leagues. Next pitcher, Spencer Schwellenbach of the Atlanta Braves. I've mentioned Schwellenbach many weeks in a row, and he's turning into something now for this Atlanta Brave team, where he's one of their top prospects coming into the season and coming off an 11K performance, 7 shutout innings versus the Mets. That's the upside of Schwellenbach on the season. 57 2/3, 4-5 record, 60 Ks, a 4.06 ERA, 1.06 whip, and 5 quality starts. But the last month of the season, he's really turned it around. 3-2 record, 31 innings, 35 Ks, a 2.90 ERA, 0.87 whip, and 3 quality starts. Just Schwellenbach, very surprisingly, he's still out there in tons of fantasy leagues right now, where this is the time for owners to go out there and get him, especially with an injury in the rotation of Max Fried. Even though he could be back sooner than later, Schwellenbach, even if they go out there and make a deal with Atlanta, is going to keep a spot in the rotation, I believe, the remainder of the season. July 12th at the Padres, 7 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, a walk, 3 Ks, a quality start. July 21st versus the Cardinals, not a great game, 6 innings, got the loss. 7 hits, 4 runs, 8 Ks. And then July 27th, the best game of his major league career, 7 innings, got the win. 2 hits, no runs, 11 Ks, a quality start. So his walks have been non-existent the last 3 outings. The K rate, the whiff rate is way up for Schwellenbach the last few weeks. And like I said, he was a top prospect in this Brave system, number 7 coming into the year. And now that he's feeling comfortable and getting things going in the major leagues, he's a big-time ad and very surprising. He's still out there in tons of fantasy leagues at 69%. And he's got 3 quality starts as well in his last 4 outings. A big ad this week. The next pitcher is Hayden Birdsong of the San Francisco Giants. A Birdsong, he's come out of nowhere, and he was a top 10 prospect in this Giant system coming into the year. Right now, available in tons of fantasy leagues here is Birdsong in 74% on the year. 30 and a third, 3-0 record, 38 Ks, a 2.97 ERA, 1.22 whip, and a quality start. But the last couple weeks, he's turned it around for sure. 11 innings, 2-0 record, 20 Ks, a 1.64 ERA in the time, an 0.91 whip, and a quality start. A Birdsong, they needed rotation help the whole season pretty much with injuries and people underperforming. And I know this Giant team's 4.5 games out of the wild card, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if they trade away some pitchers at the Major League trade deadline within the next few days, where Birdsong's definitely solidified a spot for the remainder of the season in the rotation. And July 13th versus the Twins, 5 innings, no decision, 2 hits, a run, 3 walks, 3 Ks. July 21st at the Rockies, 6 innings, got the win. 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, a whopping 12 Ks, a quality start. And July 27th versus the Rockies, 5 innings, got the win. 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks. So the last 2 outings, 20 strikeouts here for Birdsong. And I know it was versus the lonely Rockies, but still to go in Coors Field in one of the outings, pitch well, and get 12 strikeouts. And then yesterday in that doubleheader, he went out there and pitched well again. So right now, Birdsong, one of the hotter pickups on the waiver wire, and he helped fantasy owners in a big way, I believe, down the stretch. Like I said, I know the Giants, they're going to most likely trade people away, and they're not going for one of those wild card spots, but Birdsong's upside is good, and he was one of their top prospects in the system, like I mentioned. Mentioning another guy in San Francisco, next pitcher, Kyle Harrison of the San Francisco Giants. Harrison was their top prospect last season coming into the bigs, and this year it's been a mixed bag of results and some injuries as well. 97 and 2/3, 6-4 record, 90 Ks at 3.69 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, and 8 quality starts. But the last month of the season, he's definitely turned things around. 20 and a third, 2-1 record, 22 Ks at 2.66 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, and a quality start. So Harrison's turned the season around. And this Giant rotation as a whole has turned things around. They went from a rotation not doing much, and then Blake Snell, the last 2-3 outings, he's been one of the better pitchers once again in the league after coming off the injury list. Birdsong, like I mentioned just a few moments ago. Robbie Ray, he's back, and now you got Harrison. So that's a solid 4, even though there's a possibility Blake Snell and Hicks could be traded at the Major League trade deadline. But Harrison, like I said, top prospect in this system last season, and now he's starting to find his stride. July 12th versus Minnesota, 5 1/3, got the win. 5 hits, a run, a walk, 3 Ks. July 19th at the Rockies, 5 innings, no decision, a hit, no runs, 4 walks, 6 Ks. And July 26th versus the Rockies, 6 2/3 in that one, a hit, a run, 2 walks, 11 Ks, got the win, and a quality start. So Harrison, like I said, he's got major upside, no doubt about it. I know the last 2 outings have been versus weak-hitting Colorado Rocky team, but Harrison to still be out there in 52% of fantasy leagues with his upside and what he did in the minor leagues and coming up this system, he's definitely an add this week. And like I said, surprisingly still out there in just enough percent of leagues to own to get off the wire this week. The next pitcher, Colin Ray of the Milwaukee Brewers. Colin Ray, he's still out there surprisingly in 62% of fantasy leagues. I know he don't go that deep into games, but he's got a good ERA this season. He eats some innings, and he's doing good work for this Milwaukee Brewer team that's still in first place in the NL Central. 9-3, 110 innings, 84 Ks, a 3.60 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, and 6 quality starts. And over the last couple weeks for Ray, 10 2/3, 1-0 record, 15 Ks, 1.69 ERA, 1.13 WHIP in that time. So the one knock on Ray, he's not going that deep into ball games for the quality starts, but he's still giving quality innings for this Milwaukee Brewer team. He's going 5 2/3, so he's right there on the brink of the quality starts. And he's pitching good baseball, no doubt about it, for the majority of the season. And has a good win-loss record in 9-3. July 9th versus the Pirates, 5 innings, got the loss. 6 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. July 14th versus the Nats, 5 2/3, got the win. 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 7 Ks. And July 13th at the Cubs, 5 innings, no decision, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks. So his strikeout rate's gone up a little bit over the last 2 outings, 16 strikeouts. I know a tougher matchup tomorrow versus the Atlanta Braves, even though they're missing key pieces. Obviously, Acuna, he's been out the majority of the season now. Ozzie Albies, he's out for 8 weeks with injury. And the Braves, they're stumbling down the standings over the last month with the injuries and just even inconsistent hitting, believe it or not, when you still got guys like Ozuna, Matt Olson in the lineup every day, Austin Riley, who's had an up and down year, Michael Harris, he's been out as well, which has been a key factor. But anyway, I think Colin Ray could go out there and pitch decent versus this Brave team. And he's an ad this week. The next ad, Matt Waldron of the San Diego Padres. So he's just on the brink of an ad, available in 50% of fantasy leagues. And Waldron's been solid for this Padre team that's obviously been surging over the last couple weeks here. 118 2/3, 6-9 record on the year, 103 Ks, a 3.64 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, and 10 quality starts. So Waldron, he's not going to be a crazy strikeout pitcher, but he's going to eat innings for the San Diego Padre team. And like I said, this Padre team, one of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball, and Waldron's definitely been a big part of that, holding down the fort until either Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish come back. Then this rotation really could be lethal, I think, to go with Dylan Cease, Waldron, those 2 guys, and Vasquez, who's been pitching well. If they can't make a deal with the deadline, July 12th versus the Braves, 7 innings, got the loss, 6 hits, 4 runs, a walk, a K in that one. July 19th at the Guardians, 6 innings, got the loss, 6 hits, a run, 5 Ks, a quality start. And July 24th at the Nats, 6 innings, got the win, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. So he's got 3 quality starts the last 4 outings. Like I said, he's going deep into ball games. He's Matt Waldron for the San Diego Padre team. And this Padre team's definitely gotten things going, like I said, over the last couple weeks. One of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball. Tough series, no doubt about it, coming up with Waldron's pitching in July 30th versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. But like I said, Waldron's going out there pitching good baseball. He's going deep in the games. The only thing he's not really going to give fantasy owners is strikeouts, but everything else, he can help in a big way. And this week, he's a good ad while he's still available, just at the threshold of 50% of fantasy leagues. Next pitcher is Jeffrey Springs of the Tampa Bay Rays. So we saw this Ray team, they're selling pieces off, and now they're getting some reinforcements back in the rotation. Pepper should be back sooner than later. Jeffrey Springs, he's coming off the injured list and making a season debut versus the Miami Marlins in Tuesday's ball game, July 30th. He's been a solid pitcher until he went down with Tommy John, and we haven't seen him in the major leagues since April of 2023, so he's been out a whole season and a half, and now he's back, and he's got a good matchup versus the Marlins, even though I'm not thinking he's going to go out there right away and pitch 6-7 innings this Springs, even though they definitely stretched him out and gave him tons of time to rehab in the minor leagues, is this Tampa Bay Ray team. So this Ray team, like I said, they've been selling guys off. Zach Eflin, we saw them trade away. We saw him trade Randy Arozarena, which was a little surprising. But Jeffrey Springs, like I said, he's a crafty pitcher, and I think he could go out there and help fantasy owners down the stretch. I know he's coming off the Tommy John, but still someone with major upside and good stuff, and he's available in 60% of fantasy leagues. And I know he pitches in a tough division, obviously, in the AL East, but this Tampa Bay Ray team, they find diamonds in the rough, and Jeffrey Springs has been one of those guys, so I think is a back-in rotation pitcher for fantasy owners. He definitely can help. The next pitcher, Ben Lively of the Cleveland Guardians. So Lively, he's at the threshold as well, available in 51% of fantasy leagues. And overall this season, he's come out of nowhere. I know last year was with the Cincinnati Reds, but really didn't do much. And this year, 99 in the third, 9-6 record, 86 Ks, a 3.44 ERA, a 1.17 WHIP, and 6 quality starts. But the last couple weeks, he's turned it around after a rough month. 16 2/3, 1-2 record, 15 Ks, a 2.70 ERA, a 1.08 WHIP, and a quality start. So Lively, he's definitely got good stuff. He's not a strikeout pitcher as well like Matt Waldron, but he's going to give you length, pitch well for the most part, and not get bombed. He'll go like 6 innings, 3 runs, 4 runs at most for the most times he has been Lively. And he's in a division in the Central where we know there's weak hitting teams like the Chicago White Sox, the Tigers. I don't think their offense is all that great. Kansas City, a hit-or-miss type of offense, same with the Minnesota Twins. So Lively, I know the last month has been rough, but the last couple weeks he's wrote the ship a little bit. July 14th at Tampa, 5 1/3, got the loss. 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. July 21st versus the Padres, 5 1/3, got the loss. 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks. And July 26th at the Phillies, who we know is a powerhouse team. 6 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start. So Lively's definitely turned things around over the last couple weeks here, and that he's available in 51% of fantasy leagues. I think he could help fantasy owners down the stretch, and he's an ad this week. Next pitcher, Luis Ortiz of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Luis Ortiz, he's been a hot pickup over the last few weeks since he's been back in this rotation with injuries to Jared Jones and just pitchers who've underperformed for the Pirates on the season. 78 2/3, 5-2 record, a save, 63 Ks, a 2.75 ERA, a 1.14 WHIP, and 3 quality starts in the last month of the year. 25 2/3, 1-0 record, 20 Ks, a 1.75 ERA, an 0.97 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So imagine this Pirate team had a little more offense. We'll see if they add some bats down the stretch here with the deadline in the next few days to go with this pitching staff of Mitch Keller, obviously Paul Skeens, then Jared Jones when he returns, and Luis Ortiz. That's a very solid 4 and a scary rotation if somehow they snuck into the playoffs. And you got to verse those top 3 especially. So the last few outings for Ortiz, July 13th at the White Sox, 5 2/3 in that one, no decision. 4 hits, a run, a walk, 5 Ks. July 20th versus Philly, 7 innings, got the win. 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks, a quality start. And July 26th, one of his worst outings in the last few months. 5 innings, no decision. 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. Ortiz, he's got good stuff. He's not scared to attack the zone. Like I said, this Pittsburgh Pirate team, one of the best rotations, in my opinion, in all Major League Baseball. And Ortiz has been a part of it. And right now, well, he's pitching good. And I believe he'll have a spot in this rotation. Even though Martin Perez and Marco Gonzalez are veterans in the rotation as well. Even when players return, I think Ortiz will stay in this rotation and help fantasy owners. Available in 63% of fantasy leagues. And the final pitch I looked at off the wire is Simon Woods Richardson of the Minnesota Twins. He's been underrated this season, is Woods Richardson, former top prospect a few years ago in the New York Mets system, but now he's bounced around, but he's found a home with this Minnesota Twin team. And this Twin team, one of the teams in the wild card hunts on the season, 88 innings, 3-1 record, 76 Ks, a 3.27 ERA, a 1.11 WHIP, and 6 quality starts. In the last month of the season, the offense is just not backing him. 22 innings, 0-0 record, 20 Ks, a 2.86 ERA, a 1.05 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. Woods Richardson available in tons of fantasy leagues still, surprisingly, in 82%. And speaking of the New York Mets, his next outing is tomorrow at one of his former teams. So like I said, he's bounced around. He was on the Mets. Then he got traded in the Marcus Stroman deal to the Toronto Blue Jays, and then dealt here to the Minnesota Twins. But he's gone out there and he's been a crafty pitcher all season long for Minnesota. And if he just got some run support, he would be even better, obviously, is Woods Richardson. July 7th versus Houston, 6 innings, no decision, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. July 13th at San Francisco, rough outing, 4 1/3, only 7 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 7 Ks. And then he bounced back in his latest outing versus a great Philly team. July 23rd, 6 innings versus Philly, no decision, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, 5 Ks, a quality start. So he's gone out there, and it doesn't matter the opponent. For the most part, he's going to find a way to go 5-6 innings, have a decent K rate, and keep his team in the ball game, is Woods Richardson. So tomorrow's definitely a test at the New York Mets, but I think he could go out there and put in another decent outing. And like I mentioned, he's out there in 82% of fantasy leagues. So this week, a lot of good pitchers on the waiver wire, surprisingly, and one of the strongest weeks in many weeks, where I believe most of these players could be long-term fits for fantasy owners and help down the stretch. So that's a few pitchers I looked at off the wire for Week 17 of the fantasy baseball season.